Hey, K, I see you. Okay. Told y'all I'm gonna do this. See if I can do this. They steady be asking while reading the Bible, like, man, who is you to come over and put me all under control? Lifting these curses day and night, no max. Now my spirit is swole.
Right? But you brothers are turning your back. Remember this day, you turned your back.
The Bible, I buried my stick and then picked up a script.
We need to be saved from the people that hate us. We are haters.
We estimated and you can't wait.
Because they fear of the uprising of our people.
That's right.
They fear that. You want to know why? Because there's power within the black race.
Put in the call for war, you best believe you already know I'm a slide.
We give this sense because everybody don't know the mysteries of God.
Black as a cold, but boy, ain't no way you can hide. Man, I'm God's son, ain't no need for no idol.
Osteen on Creflo Dollar was out here right now. He be right here trying to get him some money.
See, I'm 10 toes, planet feeling like David. Computer prophets, man, they steady be
Now we'll do good, because that's what you did, that's a good thing. Evil is present with me. Though you can't see it.
in league of our own, we ain't.
Therefore the curse is poured out upon
But you don't know who wrote them.
This is the Bible. We reading the Holy Bible since we ain't reading books.
The revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave unto him, to show unto his servant things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, who bear record of the word of God.
So now, so he said he signified it, and he gave it to his angel. Talking about John. The word angel just means a messenger. Okay, he was a messenger to John. Well, you hear about John the Revelator. How did John bear record back in these days? How would you think about it today? We got cameras, we can record, we can take pictures, and there's another way to record things. How did they record things back in the days? They wrote it down. See, sis, you see how you get it, how simple, how easy it is. What did he do? He wrote it down, and what did Christ tell him to do?
Who bear record of the word of God and of the testimony of Jesus Christ and of all things that he saw.
So now we're gonna find out. He said, and all things that John the Revelator saw. Right? Remember, John walked with Christ. Right? Remember, so this is years later. I think about 60 years later. So John was put on the island of Patmos. Okay, Patmos was like this is a place where they would put you at, and you would starve to death. Okay, so this was his punishment for teaching the gospel. Okay, to our people, because our people were lost. They was worshiping Zeus, Athena, all this stuff. That's what the Galatians. We were the Greek speaking Hebrews. That's what you read about in Galatia, Corinthians. The Philippians, all those names that you read in the New Testament, those were Israelites that fell into the Greek custom. I can touch on that as well. But jump to verse what I wanted when he turned around, verse 11.
Verse 11, saying, I am Alpha and Omega.
Jump up real quick. Jump to verse 10.
Verse 10, I was in the spirit of the Lord's day, and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet, saying, I am Alpha and Omega.
So now this is John the Revelator. Here's somebody behind him with a loud voice. He's on the Lord's day. The Lord's day is the Sabbath day, okay? This is from Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. So he heard a great voice behind him, right? What would you do if you standing there and somebody came up, Miriam, what you gonna do? You gonna look? All right, let's see what John the Revelator did. Read.
The first and the last. And what thou seest, write in a book.
So tell him again, what you about to see, I want you to write this down in the book. Remember, he got to signify that he got to give it to his servants, the Israelites. Read.
And send it unto the 7 churches, which are in Asia, unto Ephesus, unto Samaria, Smyrna, and unto Pergamos, and unto Thyatira, and unto Sardis, and unto Philadelphia, and unto Laodicea.
Yeah, so these are the 7 churches right here that it was talking about at this time in Asia Minor and all those different places. You had Israelite, you had Jewish church, synagogues that was set up. Okay, those people at one time they were into the midst of Greek mythology or what do you call it, idolatry. Like today, our people are into Christianity. Christianity is another false religion. Okay, that was given to Christianity is white supremacy. Okay,
That's right.
Islam. That goes into like what you see. What some of the businesses we have, they're owned by the Arabs, right? The smoke shots and all that. Them ain't our people, okay? They had us in slavery too. But you know, when I was in the military in Iraq, I kept seeing these black. I was like, who are these black folks right here? I'm like, now I said, dude, I said, we on a convoy. I said, yo, did you see that sister? Or you see that brother? They said, yeah. Well, we didn't know. Maybe like 8 years later, I saw something come up. These were our brothers and sisters doing a sub-Saharan slave trade. Okay? We got scattered all four corners of the earth. This is no lie. Okay? There's pockets of us all over. But we speak all those different languages in all those different countries, and we into the beliefs of whatever our slave masters were. Okay? So read that next verse.
And I turned to see the voice that spake with me.
And I turned around, like you said, right? I turned to hear this loud voice that spoke unto me.
And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks.
So look out here on this image here. This going into the seven golden candlesticks, which is the menorah. Okay, the menorah. That's what it's called, a menorah. Okay, that's what that candlestick is called. All right, read.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man.
Hear that? He said, in the middle of this thing, I saw someone that looked just like Christ. The Son of Man, that's another name for Christ, okay? He said, this person looked like Christ. You got to remember, John walked with Christ. John was Christ's favorite. That was his favorite disciple, okay? He walked with him. You know what I'm saying? He walked with him, so he know what Christ looked like. But this is 60 years later, but he still remember because Christ still looked the same as he did when he was hung on the cross, right? Read.
Clothed with a garment down to the foot.
So now he had a garment. We'll use the officer right here. He's got a garment. Not saying he had a bad garment like what Christ would have, but he had a garment that was clothed down to the foot. Read.
And girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
Right, he had a belt on. See, he got a purple belt, but he had a gold belt on. You know, this thing was real. This thing had to be bad, immaculate. Read.
His head and his hairs were white like wool.
So he said his head and the head on his head and the hairs on his face, his beard, were white like wool. What people on earth got woolly texture? Us. When they hear the word like is a comparison. Meaning he had woolly, nappy hair. Okay, that's that good hair. I mean, that real good hair, okay?
That's right. That's right.
White like wool, read.
That's white as snow.
Meaning it was fully white, meaning he had a lot of wisdom, okay, and knowledge and understanding of the Bible, read.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
So now it's talking about, give me that, I want Genesis 49 and 12. Christ prophesied through the whole book, all the way from Genesis all the way to Revelation, okay? He said his eyes was red with wine. You know, Christ's first miracle, Christ turned what? Water into wine, right? You don't think Christ drank some of that wine? He drank some of that wine. He didn't get drunk. There's nothing wrong with to drink, but you got to drink in moderation. You don't get drunk. But you can have a little bit of drink. The whites of your eyes turn red, okay? Read.
Genesis 49 and 12. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk.
Talking about Christ, okay? Because Christ come from that. When you read Genesis 49 and 12, that's going into Judah, the tribe of Judah. Christ sprang from that tribe, and it's letting you know a scepter, a ruler is going to come from that tribe. And it's give you a description that his eyes was red with wine, and his teeth. Remember that I was making fun of our people that was dark skinned. His teeth look white as I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they did. They marked us, okay? Read.
Revelations 1 and 15. And his feet like unto fine brass.
So now if you take your socks off or whatever, your feet the same color the rest of your skin, right? What color is brass? Like us, brown, right? So let's see how brown he was. But do you see this? Was this dude here the color of brass? No, he's red. Read.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So if we take that, you take let's say you take your that wrist you got, that what you call it, your bracelet, you threw it in the furnace. What color gonna turn? It's gonna be black.
That's
burnt,
right.
That's right. He was just like how we make jokes and he like, man, he was so black, man, he could burn in the furnace. But Christ was a very dark-skinned man. The Israelites were always dark-skinned.
That's right.
People of color, okay? You know, from anywhere from a light brown to a dark, but anywhere from lighter than Officer Issachar. Officer Issachar, he's from the tribe of he's so-called Mexican, but from the tribe of Issachar. He makes up one of the 12. I'm from the tribe of Gad. My people are so-called Native American. This brother here, his people so-called Dominicans, he's from the tribe of Simeon, okay? That's right. The other brothers here, they're from the tribe of Judah, just like you, American blacks, okay? So, what you got there for me? Read. Finish. I want you to finish reading that. We're gonna go to Daniel again.
And his voice as the sound of many waters.
I mean, Christ spoke loud. His voice, the sound of many waters. Remember, he said, I heard a loud voice behind me, and the voice, the sound of many waters. So you go to a waterfall, you can't really hear nothing because that waterfall taking over the whole thing. It's loud. You hear all that water splashing, right? So when you watch those movies, they got that Caucasian image. He sounded effeminate. Oh,
That's
Peter. Right. Oh, Paul. Yeah, what? Hey, no, Christ. You got to remember, he had to speak to 1,000 people at one time. He had to speak with authority, right? You got to speak loud. People got to take you serious, okay? So now, jump to, give me that Daniel. This is Daniel right here, right? So Daniel got a vision right here. Daniel, he had a vision that he seen Christ, okay? During his time in the vision, read.
The book of Daniel, chapter 10 and verse 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed with linen, clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz.
Right, so now he had that gold garment on. Read.
His body also was like the beryl.
Right, meaning the beryl. Beryl is a jewel. It's like a gem, but it's green, okay? That's what we get that green, how you got a green garment with some of the gold in the outline. Read.
And his face as the appearance of lightning.
I mean, his face was bright, right? Because you can't, it's hard to see him. I mean, he had a lot of wisdom. We talk about that in the book of Ecclesiastes. You want to get it from me? Watch this right here. It said, a man with wisdom, his face gonna shine. Remember when Moses, right? You familiar with the Bible? Remember when Moses went to go talk to the Most High up in the mountain, and he came down? Remember how his face glowed? And people see him. He had to cover his face. Same thing. Yeah. Aiden, got it from me?
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 1. Who is as the wise man?
Who is as the wise man? Somebody that's wise, meaning smart, right? Read.
And who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine.
Hear that? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine. That's how you will have that glow, that aurora, that, this is what Christ's face looked like. There's more to it. Jump back to where we was at real quick so we can finish up. Starting from the top.
His body also was like the beryl, and his face as the appearance of lightning,
right, read.
And his eyes as lamps of fire.
Remember the red eyes, meaning he didn't shoot out no cyclops beams or nothing, but his eyes was red like fire, right? Read.
And his arms and his feet like.
So now he said his arms and his feet, right? Remember the last one we read in Revelation said his feet. At that time they didn't wear like full shoes. They had sandals and stuff on, right? So you can see his feet. This one says now you get more color. It says his arms and his feet, right?
And his arms and his feet like in color to polish brass.
So you take brass, right? Brass is like remember his feet, like unto fine brass. In order to polish brass, you have to burn it.
That's right.
You have to burn. Look that up. You burn brass to polish it, and it's gonna be darker. Okay.
That's right.
Dark bronze color. Okay. That's what Christ looked like. More. What you got?
And the voice of his words like the voice of a multitude.
Meaning he was loud, right? So now let's get Daniel 7 and 9. I want to show you about the Most High God. Okay. So what was you told, Sister Miriam, about God? What was you told in the Christian church? What did your family or whomever the pastor, what you done read about or heard them speaking? What do they say about Most High God? When they say he's a spirit, right? They say he got no body and stuff like that. You can't see him. Let's see what Daniel saw. Read what you got.
It out. Book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down.
So this is Daniel. He's got a Most High giving him a vision. He said, I beheld till the thrones were cast down. This is all the kingdoms of the earth, okay? All of them were cast down, okay? And what happened?
And the Ancient of Days did sit.
Who was the Ancient of Days? Who created days? Who was before days? Ancient of Days, mean he's older than days. You gotta remember, the Most High God, he said day 1, day 2, this, that, right? He created days, right? He said the Ancient of Days, the man that was here before time. That's what it's going. That means the Ancient of Days did what?
Did sit.
So in order for you to sit down, what you gotta have? You gotta have a body.
That's right.
You gotta have a body. Man, he got a spiritual body, right? Because we made in his image, right? Read.
Whose garment was white as snow.
So in order for you to put a garment on, some kind of clothing on, what you gotta have? A body. Read.
And the hair of his head.
The what?
And the hair of his head.
The hair of his head. So God got hair on top of his head, right?
Bring it up.
He got a head, right? He ain't no Casper the Ghost. Read.
Like the pure wool.
Like the what?
Like the pure wool.
Hear that? Like the pure wool. Okay, like touch your hair. I'm glad you got your hair natural because our sisters burn and destroy that stuff. Mess up your brain. Or they attach some horsehair or somebody who made a sacrifice in India of their hair to their God. Now they got that thing in their head. Now they acting crazy and buck wild. You know what I'm saying? That thing put spirits on you.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom. What is the nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family.